Have you ever looked at one of your favorite plants, seen those leaves starting to curl up and just felt that sinking feeling? It's probably one of the most common and frustrating things for any plant owner. But what if I told you that by the end of this, you'll know exactly what your plant is trying to say and how to fix it fast? Okay, let's get into it. First things first, you've got to understand that a curled leaf isn't just some random thing that happens. It's communication. It's your plant sending out a very specific distress signal, and learning to read that signal, well, that's the whole game. And this is where most of us get stuck, right? We see the curl and we panic a little. We dump some water on it, then maybe we move it to a sunnier spot. But when nothing changes, or maybe it even gets worse, it's because we're just guessing. We're not actually figuring out the real problem. So let's get to the bottom of what's really happening. Okay, so the truth is, leaf curling is always a reaction to stress. But here's the really crucial part. Not all stress is the same. And if you treat it for dehydration when the issue is actually too much water, you can push your plant from just being stressed out to being seriously damaged. You can make it way, way worse. Now, what's actually pretty cool about this is the biology behind it. The plant isn't just wilting, it's actively trying to save its own life. By curling its leaves inward, it reduces how much of its surface is exposed to the air, which slows down water loss. It's this incredibly smart, built-in survival mode. Let's start with the number one culprit, which is also the most confusing one: water. It seems so simple, but it's really deceptive because both too much and too little water can cause the exact same symptom. And here's why that happens. When it's underwatered, the plant curls to hold on to whatever water it has left. But with overwatering, the roots are just sitting in soggy soil and they can't breathe. They start to rot and they literally can't absorb any water, so the plant starts acting like it's in a drought. So how in the world do you tell the difference? Simple. Forget the leaves for a second and check the soil. Stick your finger in there a couple of inches. If it's bone dry, your plant is thirsty. If it's wet, heavy, and just soggy, stop watering right now and make sure your pot has good drainage. Okay, so what if you've ruled out a watering issue? Well, now it's time to widen our investigation. Let's look beyond the watering can and check out some key environmental suspects. We're going to look at 3 major stressors that people often forget about: the humidity in the air, the kind of light it's getting, and any sudden changes in temperature. Most of our favorite houseplants come from tropical, humid places. But our homes, especially with the air conditioning or the heat running all the time, are often like a desert to them. This dry air just sucks the moisture right out of the leaves, and that triggers the exact same survival response. They curl up to protect themselves. Now, here's one that surprises a lot of people. We tend to think all light is good light, but that's just not true. That intense, direct sunlight, especially in the afternoon, can literally overwhelm an indoor plant. The leaves curl to shield themselves, kind of like you'd hold your hands up to block a bright light, trying to prevent getting scorched. Plants love stability. They hate surprises. So a sudden cold draft from an open window or a blast of hot air from a nearby vent can send them right into shock. This rapid change is a huge stressor, and you'll often see the leaves curl up almost immediately as a way to protect themselves. So if water and the environment all seem fine, it's time to pull out your magnifying glass. The cause might be something a lot smaller and harder to spot: unseen intruders that are literally attacking your plant. 2 big things to look for here. First, pests. And you gotta really look. Flip the leaves over and check the undersides carefully. Tiny little insects like spider mites and aphids will suck the sap right out, causing the leaves to curl up. Look for any fine webbing or maybe a sticky feeling on the leaf. Second, nutrient imbalance. We mean well when we fertilize, but too much is a bad thing. It can cause salts to build up in the soil, which burns the roots and, you guessed it, prevents them from absorbing water. So, after looking at all these possible causes, you might be starting to see the single most important takeaway from this whole explainer. This is the big shift in thinking that changes everything. So here it is. The crucial point is this: leaf curling is never the actual problem. It is only ever a symptom. It's a message your plant is sending you that something is wrong. Your job isn't to fix the curl. Your job is to figure out what message it's sending so you can fix the real underlying cause. And now you have the tools to do exactly that. Think of this as your new checklist. From now on, instead of just reacting, you get to be a plant detective. Start with the soil. Then look at the light. Feel the air right around the plant. And finally, inspect the leaves themselves for any intruders. When you go through these steps, you're not guessing anymore. You're diagnosing. Because that's really what this all boils down to. Your plant isn't just a piece of decor. It's a living thing that is constantly telling you what it needs. And once you learn to understand these signals, taking care of it becomes a conversation instead of a chore. Those curled leaves are no longer a mystery. They're just part of the dialogue. So I'll leave you with this question. Go take a look at your plants. If you see a curled leaf, don't just see a problem. See a message. Using what you've just learned, what do you think your plant is trying to tell you right now?